budget that talks about the direction that India needs to take in its attempt to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047. It is a continuum of the measures that have been taken in the last few budgets, as well as the steps that the government has taken outside of the budgets as well. And remember, this budget comes in at a time when there is a very serious geopolitical climate. Volatile and, of course, geo-economic fragmentation, confrontation are things that the government has to contend with. Joining me now is the Economic Affairs Secretary and Secretary of the DFS, and, of course, Chandrajit Banerjee of CII. Industry has questions as well for our Secretary, so thank you very much for joining us here today. Ms. Thakur, let me start by asking you, and I asked the Revenue Secretary this, and he said you should ask the Economic Affairs Secretary this, so let me put that question to you, because I think the big headline around the rupee and the manner in which it's swiftly depreciated, especially in the last few weeks. How much of a concern is that for the government? And was there a thinking whether you should do anything in the short term to try and arrest the decline of the rupee?
So, as you would have been knowing that, and it's been in the media, how much of intervention should be there to arrest the decline of any currency is a matter of great debate, as it has been in our country as well. And as we see the depreciation of the rupee, the capital flows which are behind this, the FDI has been behaving in a particular way and FPIs are behaving in a different way. The overall FDI flows are pretty strong and stable, I would say. If you see a netting off because of the ODIs, that's a different thing. The FPIs are pulling out for completely different reasons, including valuations, including interest rates, etc. So in the short term, we did not really think that the budget should be doing anything, as long as we continue, like you said, with consistency and commitment on the path that we have laid out for ourselves.
But how much of a concern is that for the government today? We're at 92, and when do we start to get into uncomfortable territory as far as the rupee's depreciation is concerned? When does it start to have an impact on our import bill? And it's already having an import bill impact, but when does it get into uncomfortable territory?
So I don't think I would be able to put a number to that. But so far, we've been watching it. And like it was explained 2 days earlier when the economic survey came out, it is in that zone, of course, right now. But so far, it's not...
In the uncomfortable
zone? Yes. Because the moment it crosses 90, everyone talks about it. We start watching out. But so far, we are just looking at it as something which also has some positives for the country. So closely watching it,
the export competitiveness,
absolutely,
which is something that the survey did talk about as well. On the market borrowing, Economic Affairs Secretary, there was some concern that it's on the higher side, and also some clarity on the switch and buyback and how you intend to go about that and what the plan is on that front.
So the numbers would show that the total borrowing is about 17 crores, of which
17 lakh crores.
17 lakh crores, yes. Sorry. And of which the dated securities are in the same range as it has been in the last couple of years, around 11.7 or 11.2 lakh crores. That's because 5.5 lakh crores is repayment of older debt.
Yes.
And insofar as switching or buybacks are concerned, as we come closer to repayments, to manage the repayments, to manage the high coupon debt, we take decisions around that closer to those dates.
You said that this is a budget that's been done on the basis of numbers that are as is, where is. But do you see the nominal number changing as we move to the new CPI series as well as the new GDP series in the month of February, later this month?
It could. I mean, those numbers, we have to see how MOSPI is. So MOSPI's, as that would have been noticed also, the MOSPI's basic procedures and numbers have been very robust. But we'll have to see how that plays out. And when they do, then we'll take...
but do you anticipate a significant change or...
If you're asking me personally, from whatever modeling and analysis we've done, I don't see a very big change, but we'll really have to watch. It would be premature to judge and say where it could go.
So how will you then factor in on the back of the revised series and the new GDP print? How will you factor that into your numbers then?
We would. I mean, but I would say that I would like to wait for, because just another couple of weeks and we would know. But we have enough bandwidth to absorb that and to see how that can go forward.
Okay, I'll come back to you in just a second. And Mr. Nagaraju, one of the big announcements from the Finance Minister was this committee, that high-level committee that will be set up to look at the needs of India's banking sector as we get to 2047. Now, How should we understand this? Because is it a scale largely going to be driven by a scale and efficiency need? How would we read this? Because the natural assumption is that this is, in a way, the government's attempt at the consolidation plan that had already been put in motion.
I would say that they see Viksit Bharat when it happened, 2047, that became, in fact, the country would be of about 30 trillion. And for that, we need a bank credit of about 37 trillion. And now we have also another segment, one challenge, what we call credit not included population. Okay. That is, even there we have about 300 to 350 million people. Financially, they have bank accounts and all those things, but that they also are there. Now, the other element is the bank credit to non-financial sector as a percentage of GDP. We are only about 56%. Most advanced countries, large countries, they have more than 100%. Some are even close to 200. We require credit. So somebody has to provide credit to businesses, individuals, to set up businesses. It's the banks only the one which provide, the large anywhere. Now, to do that, what are the steps and reforms required for the sector as a whole? I think we need to have an open mindedness to look at these structures, existing regulatory framework, what kind of capital we require, what are the efficiency we require, what are the other countries are doing in the banking sector. I think government felt that there is a need to have a roadmap to prepare the banking sector to finance the goals of Viksit Bharat 2047.
Okay.
So we will have...
It'll go beyond consolidation then?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it is going beyond naturally.
Okay. But consolidation is going to be part of it.
We have to finalize first TOR.
Okay. So by when do we expect this committee to be set up? Who are the constituents of this committee likely to be? Will the regulator be involved as well?
You see, I can't now speculate on that, but we have to find out the good, credible people with a lot of expertise. We want this to be outside the government, and we consider all the pool available, and then government will finalize the committee.
And do you also believe that this committee will have to look at the fact that so much of banking and so much of our current transactions are now also moved to digital? So will that also be a large part of how this committee looks at the future of banking?
You are absolutely right. That also will be looked at. There are now countries who have given digital banking licenses.
Yes, exactly. Are we heading in that direction?
No. We don't know. The committee will look at anything to do with the banking.
Okay.
All the banking requirements for Viksit Bharat 2047. This is the committee will be tasked to take a look at it, dispassionate look at it, and recommend the steps the government should take.
Are you happy with the credit growth today?
Yeah, today, in fact, this year credit growth, I'm very happy.
But you would want it to be better?
I want it to be more.
How much?
I see. Currently, let's say the credit growth till now is about 12%.
Yes.
But an economy of our size and aspirations and the goals, I think we should be there anywhere above 15%.
Above 15%?
Above 15% we should have credit growth.
Chandrajit Banerjee, you've got the two secretaries here ready and waiting for your questions, your googlies. Go ahead.
And private sector should also invest.
The private sector should invest. You have to respond to that before you ask them questions.
Private sector has started actually responding. I mean, investing in the last 1 year, but I'll just, of course, take the opportunity of asking the two secretaries just one question, but then before that, congratulations, fantastic budget. I think since morning we have been appreciating the various features in it, but I just wanted to take the advantage of DFS Secretary here on the budget, announcing some very good steps with regards to strengthening the corporate bond market, and some the municipal that was very interesting. But how do you see the markets really evolving in terms of as far as the long-term sources of infrastructure and housing financing is concerned on that? And an allied question, if I may, because Shireen did ask the very important question about that. but NBFCs. And in the banking sector, of course, going beyond banking sector and the financial institutions, I didn't see much in the budget whether and the role that they can play as they move along.
The two things. One is, I think it's nobody's case that we require a deep, broader bond market in the country. That is one of the key, one of the main sources of capital for infrastructure, long-term infrastructure, and also companies to grow. Now, government has been taking very calibrated, deliberate measures to develop that. Municipal finance always is one of the most attractive bond markets in the entire world. Now, last year in the budget we have announced partial credit guarantee for the bond. We have now got the approval from the RBI also. Through NABFID we are doing that. We will actually provide partial credit guarantee with the first class. Now, that is one way of doing it. But now this budget also, the government also announcing separate support for the urban local bodies. That is also, last year also we announced Urban Challenge Fund, if you recall. That is also will be put in place. All those measures, we hope, because urban challenges will be the main focus of this government for a few more years. Because we need to provide basic services to our citizens. World-class services, that is very important. Now, coming to the NBFCs, you know, NBFC growth this year is one of the, in fact, this is the best growth. They had little more than 10% growth. 10% growth. And they are doing well. We are using them. Now, most of the services of NBFC are digital. We are also pushing a lot of priority sector lending through NBFCs because of their reach and accessibility. And we wanted them to do more. And we consider them as partners of our economic or financial ecosystem, and we want them to be bigger. And you know, the larger NBFCs, the RBI regulates a little more closely. The smaller ones, there is a light touch model, whereby they are a little more freedom to finance and innovate.
You know, let me come back to more specific banking questions. As part of the TOR, as and when it's done, but the thinking at this point in time, PSBs, the FDI cap, private sector got, you know, a huge deluge of money coming in via the FDI route. A bunch of private sector banks got in FDI. Will public sector banks be able to enjoy that opportunity?
See, currently, we would like, actually, the government is examining to enhance the FDI up to 49%. In fact, the Honorable Finance Minister herself has mentioned that we are examining it. We are examining it, I think, as and when the decision is taken. That is one of the reasons why the public sector bank shares are traded low. Because the flexibility is very low. There is no liquidity. So we wanted to have higher liquidity. And in any case, we want more capital. Because we want public sector banks to lend more. Agriculture, MSME, priority sectors. So is
that a priority of actually raising that cap for FDI, for PSBs?
See, this is under government consideration. So everything that is under government consideration is a priority.
Is it active consideration or passive consideration?
Now you are using very bureaucratic
I've got to.
She has, after talking to too many bureaucrats, you have become a bureaucrat.
26 years of doing the budget, so I've picked up a little of the bureaucracy speak. But Economic Affairs Secretary, let me also ask you, the other big document that nobody's paid any attention to is the 16th Finance Commission, and that has also been presented along with the budget. The headline, of course, there is that the devolution number remains the same at 41%. One of the members that I spoke with said that the rationale was that the Finance Commission felt it was not going to be prudent to weaken the fiscal situation of the centre at this point in time, and hence they went with that number. You know, your take on the recommendations of the Finance Commission and what that also potentially means for the centre and states.
So the way the Finance Commission is situated in the Constitution, we constitute a Finance Commission with TORs, they give recommendations, and the government has the choice to examine, accept or not accept or examine certain recommendations. We have, the government has accepted this recommendation. So the government has examined and found it appropriate to accept. So 41% works well, we have accepted it.
That number has been accepted. There's a contribution weightage to GDP that is a new one that the Finance Commission has put forward, because they said that they want to incentivize states to also do more, to perform better. You know, what's the overall scenario at this point in time in terms of the balance sheets of states themselves, especially in the framework as you move to this debt to GDP, while you also, of course, keep monitoring the fiscal deficit?
So the Finance Commission, Shireen, has a couple of recommendations in different categories. So the vertical devolution is 41%. The inter-say devolution, the horizontal devolution, what it's called, they have a couple of criteria that they come up with every finance cycle. This finance commission cycle, they have a contribution to GDP.
Okay.
Apart from other, and they have a certain weightage to it and weightage to certain other criteria. So the net result of that will be, so from the center side, 41% tax devolution, it has been allocated and mentioned in the budget. Now the inter-say horizontal devolution between the states will be governed by those criteria. In that, some states will gain as compared to the last time's devolution. Some states may stand to not gain. So that will play out at that level. Insofar as the state's indebtedness is concerned, I don't think the center has too much of a role there as long as they are within the FRBM framework.
Right.
And like the most that we can do, for example, is that we came up with the SASKI fund to help capex and productive expenditure by the center, by the states, and also to nudge them to enter into dialogue so that the expenditure that's done is productive and leads to gains for states and therefore for the country.
So what would you, and I'm asking all secretaries this, what are the big risks that you're going to be mindful of at this point in time? And I imagine that most are global, or at least in the top risks would be global today. What worries you the most as you look at the picture?
So I think the global uncertainty is very much on everyone's mind. And this budget also carries that analysis. And as it has unfolded, the kind of measures that we have, a lot of the manufacturing that you are seeing are in very strategic and frontier sectors like biopharma, which is new, very carefully selected sectors so that we can reduce critical import dependence, which is again linked to what we are seeing around in the world today. It's a very different world. So to make sure that our own self-reliance can continue, our growth can continue, we're not overly dependent on certain things, that is there in our minds, and that is what has determined the direction that the budget is taking.
Mr. Nagaraju, capital raising, we just saw, of course, State Bank of India raised significant funds, etc. But do you believe that at this point in time, capital raising will have to be prioritized by PSBs?
Last couple of years, we have been raising capital from the PSB is raising capital. I think anywhere. Last year we raised about 45,000 crores. This year also we'll be raising about 45,000 crores. SBI already raised 20,000 crore. And the rest of the banks also will be doing it. The capital is very important so that they have adequate capital buffers to provide credit. That's the one. Right. The government is not able to provide the capital required. Therefore, they have to go into the market and then QIP. We do it through QIP so that there is no issues. We continue to do that. Capital raising.
Capital raising will be something continue. That you will continue to do.
Yeah.
Let me also address the issue of what we've seen globally. We've seen a change in the Fed chief, and of course that's resulted in all kinds of other problems as far as the commodity markets are concerned, and whether or not they're going to shrink the Fed's balance sheet or not. But what's happening globally with interest rates and the interest rate trajectory back home? What is the expectation now as we move forward, given the fact that inflation still continues to be fairly low here?
So that's actually territory for the central bank to take a call on.
What is the Kartavya Bhavan? I can't even say North Block anymore. What is the Kartavya Bhavan view?
The Kartavya Bhavan view will be taken in the boardrooms of the RBI.
Okay. Well, thank you very much to the Economic Affairs Secretary and the DFS Secretary and Chandrajit Banerjee for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. We've got plenty more to ask you, but we'll reserve that for our budget verdict tomorrow. So we're not done with our budget coverage. Of course, come back to us tomorrow as we have them join us in a town hall with leaders from industry to take the budget fine print forward as we analyze it threadbare. But for this evening, thank you very much, and hope you get a well-deserved night of rest. Thank you very much for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. A quick break. There's a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a moment.